Don't you worry, don't you cry. I can promise it gets better in time. Keep your head up, keep your shine. Hold my hand up, it gets better in time.
Did we just work a 9-hour shift? Yes. Do we feel like meal prepping? Absolutely not. But are we going to? Yes, because we have goals to meet. Hi guys, I'm Ree. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, baby, hit the subscribe button because you're gonna wanna stay. I am on a life journey, so my channel features all things faith, fitness, and lifestyle. If you're on a life journey like I am, please stick around. I guarantee I have something for you. If you're returning, hey besties, it's so good to see you guys again. So, as you can tell by today's title, we're getting into another meal prep, and I do apologize, this is late, but I didn't meal prep this weekend. So I'm gonna prep right after work today because I'm trying to get the body together. My birthday is in like 2 weeks. So like, I'm really trying to like get the body snatched and also just eat really well before I go on my little birthday vacay because your girl's gonna eat good on vacation. I'm just saying. But anyway, so today we're gonna be getting into the quickest meal prep because one, I really just don't feel like it, and two, I'm tired. I'm tired, but it is achievable. So we're gonna muscle through it because listen, if we're trying to meet these goals, sometimes we need to get a little uncomfortable. We need to find comfort in the discomfort. So I'm gonna go ahead and make 2 meals because I really haven't been eating breakfast as of late. Everybody knows this, but if you're new, I don't really eat breakfast. I don't also intermittent fast because I do have my coffee in the morning and there's definitely creamer in there. It's definitely the International Delight frosted sugar cookie flavor because it's the best one that they have. Honestly, 10 out of 10. I'm just really not that hungry first thing in the morning, but feel free to add, another meal because some people are different. Some people can wake up and eat. It's not my story, but it very well could be yours. Also, my makeup looks crazy because it was so hot in my school today and I just didn't have time to like fix my hair or my makeup before getting on camera. So this is just very raw and uncut. So I do apologize. So today I'm going to be making 2 meals. The first thing I'm going to make is a mason jar salad, and it's going to be a little harvest salad. Now that we're getting into the fall, you know that I'm a mason jar salad girl. So every single time I make a salad, it's going in a mason jar. It's just fresher, it lasts longer, and it's easier to transport. And then for dinner, I want to make this like chicken enchilada soup. I feel like it's more of a chili, and the only reason I'm making it is mainly because I can just throw it in a pot and leave it alone, essentially. That's really the whole reason. Like, I just don't actually feel like cooking today, but we're gonna try to muscle through as best we can. But also now it's getting into the fall, it's October, it's getting a little bit chilly. Well, today it was 60 degrees in Philly. I don't really know what's going on, but global warming. But anyways, yeah, so it's getting a little bit chilly outside, and what better way to celebrate bringing in the fall by having a fall harvest salad and a little bit of soup to keep you warm, even though it's like hot outside? I don't know. But anyway, so I'm gonna be making those 2 things. I will link both recipes down below in the description box. I found one of them on Pinterest. The soup was on Pinterest, so I'll link that down below. Also, the macros are on the recipe. If you click that link, it's already on the website, so you might as well, if you want to check out that website, it's already on there. I didn't stray from it at all, so we should be good to go. And then I'll also have the macros on the screen for the salad because I know you guys are really interested in the macro breakdown of each of my meals, so I'll have that for you guys as well. And then I think that's really it. So without further ado, we're gonna jump into this meal prep because I'm trying to like get to bed. Like, I'm just trying to be done because Miss Dachi girl, she's tired. So all right, let's jump in. So to start off this meal prep, I'm gonna start off by seasoning 2 salmon fillets. You only see me season 1, but just know I did 2. And I'm just using my simple seasonings such as chili powder, garlic powder, parsley flakes, and salt. And then I'm just going to spray it lightly with a little bit of spray olive oil, which was a complete mistake because everything went everywhere. I completely played myself. I literally played myself. And then I'm going to pop it into the air fryer at 400 degrees for about 13 minutes to start, but I think I had to reduce the time. Also, I know people are weird about touching raw meat with your bare hands, but I'm the only one eating it, and I wash my hands in between every single time I'm handling raw meat, so please don't feel like I'm just being dirty out here and not washing my hands. I just wanted to address that, but feel free to wear gloves. Moving on to the vegetable portion of this meal, I don't know if you guys have ever had to cut a butternut squash on your own, but when I tell you I was struggling, thank the Lord for edits. Anyway, so I managed to cut it in half. I scraped out all the inside, and then off camera, I took the skin off, or the outside rind off, and then now I'm just cubing it into little bite-sized pieces. I really don't like huge chunks of butternut squash. It gives me too much of sweet potato vibes, and if you know me, you already know I don't like sweet potatoes, but feel free, if you like sweet potatoes, to swap the butternut squash for some sweet potatoes. It was a lot of chopping for this, but honestly, it was worth it. Next, in a bowl, I'm gonna combine some halved Brussels sprouts that I washed, add the butternut squash, and then season with the following seasonings on the screen. I prefer my butternut squash to be more savory, but some people really like that sweetness. So feel free to customize the seasonings, because for real, I want you to eat the food that sits well with your palate. And then after all the seasonings are in, I put in 2 teaspoons of extra virgin olive oil, and then I'm going to toss them together, mix them really well to make sure that all the seasonings are distributed, and I'm going to pop them into the air fryer in one batch because I was being lazy, didn't feel like doing it in 2 batches, at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. Now to assemble my salads, of course, I have my favorite 32-ounce mason jars. Everybody always asks me what size they are. They're 32 ounces and I purchased them from Amazon. They will be linked down below. I'm just going to assemble, first adding a base layer of butternut squash and Brussels sprouts, followed by the flaked salmon, a little bit of Parmesan cheese, and then I'm adding 2 kinds of greens. I'm going to start with arugula and then top the rest of it off with some spring mix because I love spring mix. And then I'm going to place the lid on each of them and pop them in the fridge. I made enough for 5 salads, but you're only going to see 3 here because one of my mason jars was already preoccupied in the fridge, and then I also made one off camera that day to have for my lunch. So moving on to our soup prep, I'm going to be seasoning 3 super large chicken breasts. I don't know about you guys, but raw chicken just weirds me out, but anyways, so I'm gonna season lightly with a little bit of onion powder, black pepper, chili powder, and garlic powder. I'm not gonna season with salt because it's going into a soup and I don't want to make everything overly salty, so I'll just add salt as we go just to taste. I'm gonna season both sides, spray them with a little bit of spray olive oil, and then pop them in the oven at 400 degrees for about 20 to 23 minutes. I think that's the time I use. If not, just check the recipe down below, but my oven be getting pretty hot. Now that both sides of the chicken have been seasoned, I'm just going to quickly use my hands. I know people are weird. Again, feel free to use gloves or like a spatula. Moving on, I'm going to chop 1 yellow onion, 2 stalks of celery, and 1 whole red bell pepper. I'm going to try and keep them small so that they cook kind of fast, but it really is not going to matter because I'm going to put everything in the blender and make it smooth anyway. This recipe also called for carrots, but I didn't have any whole carrots, so the shredded carrots are just gonna have to do, but it's completely fine because like I said, everything's going in the blender. Next, moving on to all of my other ingredients, I need 2 cans of fire roasted tomatoes, 1 can of dark kidney beans, 1 can of black beans, and a can of tomato paste. And then I'm also gonna have some low sodium chicken broth, some garlic, and then the spices on the screen. Oh, and of course corn. We cannot forget the corn. Okay, so in a pot, I'm gonna add my vegetables, and I know y'all saw that celery just fly out the white bowl, but anyway, I'm going to saute them and add a little bit of garlic. Actually, it's a lot of garlic because I'm heavy-handed with garlic, but I'm going to mix all those veggies up for about 1 to 2 minutes until they start to get a little bit soft, and then I'm going to season with 2 heaping teaspoons of cumin, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 2 tablespoons of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, a half a teaspoon of oregano, and some salt to taste. Don't worry, they'll be on the screen, so if you missed any, it'll be there. Just take a look. Now that all of my seasonings have been added, I'm going to mix them in and let them sit in the mixture for about 2 minutes before adding my 2 cans of fire roasted tomatoes, followed by 1/4 cup of tomato paste. It's really kind of thick, so you have to work with it. And then I wanted to break down the tomato paste, so I'm just going to stir it in really well before adding in my chicken stock. So right here, I added 4 cups of chicken stock. I should have added almost 5 to 6 because I felt like it was a little bit too thick after I blended it, but you'll see later on that I thinned out the soup and I added an additional cup of chicken broth, but feel free to just add the extra cup here. That worked best for me unless you want a thicker soup. And then I'm just going to let it simmer on the stove for about 35 to 40 minutes, and then I'll let cool for a bit before I pop in the blender. So I let the soup mixture cool completely so that I didn't have a mess in my kitchen, because if you blend hot stuff, it tends to expand. This is the only blender that I have, my NutriBullet, but if you have a regular blender, feel free to use that. But this worked just fine, and I blended it until it was completely smooth. I had to do it in 2 batches because there was just a lot of soup, and I didn't want to overcrowd the blender the first time, but this is like the creamy texture without having to add dairy, which was kind of nice. As I'm preparing for my pot to get hot again, I'm going to go ahead and shred the 3 chicken breasts. I let them also cool completely, so if they were warmer, this probably would have been a little bit easier. My bowl was sliding everywhere, but that's completely fine. I'm just going to shred all 3 chicken breasts. You can chop them, you can keep them bigger if you want to. I just prefer to have shredded chicken to make it easier to eat, but this is what it looked like. And now we're going to go ahead and start making this soup. I don't know why, but this soup pour is just so like relaxing to watch. But I'm gonna add both blender cups full of soup, and I'm going to heat it up. I'm gonna start by adding my chicken, my drained beans. Again, I use kidney beans and black beans. I'm also making a mess because, you know, that's what I do here. The moment I turn on the camera, everything just starts going wrong. And then I'm gonna add about a half a cup of frozen corn. You can use canned corn, but frozen just worked better for me. And I'm just going to mix this all together, add salt to taste, and then I'm gonna actually have to thin this out a little bit because I felt like it mimicked chili too much, and I really did want to have more of a soupy texture. In a minute, you're going to see me add chicken broth. I'm going to add it twice, and I added it in increments of half cups. So yeah, you see I just added a full extra cup, which is why I said in the beginning that you could just add the 5 to 6 cups of chicken broth from the jump, so you don't have that problem unless you want that. And then I'm just gonna let it simmer, and I'm gonna add some bay leaves. I think I added 3. I don't know what it is. I just feel like anytime I make soup, I have to put as many bay leaves in there as possible. I don't know what it does, but I could definitely tell when the bay leaves are not there, but the taste is not overpowering. It just gives an extra savory taste. And I'm literally just going to let it sit on the stove until I'm ready to have dinner. I'm not even gonna lie to you, I kept it on low for like 6 hours, and it was perfect. So of course I have to show you how I'm going to assemble it. So I ladled some into a bowl. I'm adding 1/4 cup of shredded cheddar cheese, adding a little bit of red onion, and of course some jalapeno. The more the better, because clearly I just want to burn my esophagus. And that is literally it. It was 10 out of 10 delicious. I'll definitely be making it again. So this is going to conclude this week's meal prep. If you liked what you saw, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Also be sure to turn on your post notifications. That way you can be notified every time your girl drops a new video. And until next time, babes, I'll see you in my next.